Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Hold on one second. I don't know how to get rid of the screen. Hold on a second. I can't get the screen down to get back to my thing though. Can everybody hear me? Yes. How do I get the screen down? I can't to get back to my regular screen. I can't. There I go again. Okay, can everybody hear me? Okay, all right, we're having technical difficulty. Okay, so I'm live. I just gotta record now, right? On where? How do I do that?
You gotta do roll call. I just have to say that.
Yeah, no, I'm on mute. Okay, okay. All right, I'm gonna record to the cloud. Okay, thanks, Bill. Okay, all set. Sorry about the technical difficulty. Jen, go ahead.
Okay.
You can go ahead, call the meeting to order. You can call the roll.
Okay. Chairman Figueroa is absent. Vice Chairman Rankin? Vice Chairman Rankin is absent. Ms. Faleve?
Present.
Present. Mr. Cohen? Is absent. Mr. Rita?
Here.
Ms. D? Is absent. Mr. Fontaine?
Here.
Ms. Swearingen?
Present.
Ms. Ray,
Here.
you have 5 present and 4 absent. You have a quorum.
Okay, Jen, you can read the first item on the agenda.
Before you get to
Yeah,
that, you have to, somebody has to make a motion to elect a chairperson for the meeting.
Yep, that's right. Thank you, Jillian.
I'd like to, I'm sorry, Sherry.
Go ahead, Sue.
Oh, I'd like to make a motion that Ms. Fibele act as chairman pro tem for this meeting.
Seconded.
Item number 1, discussion and vote on an updated PERA Executive Director job description.
They have to vote on that motion.
Oh, all
So
those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
okay, thank you. Now you can do item 1.
Thank you, Jillian.
Can we put item number 1 on the screen, please?
Sherry, do you know how to screen share?
No, I don't. Can anybody share their screen? Does anybody have that up?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll read it again. So it's discussion and vote on an updated PERA Executive Director job description.
Does everybody have the job description in front of them? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Continue.
Susan, would you read the job description since for Elise? No, Susan.
I was gonna say, this is Elise worked on the job description. Defer
I'm
to her.
happy to. So what I'd actually like to do, Sherry, if you can enable the screen sharing, I can share my screen that would give us the job description.
All right, so what do you want me to do?
Just at the bottom, you have to enable screen sharing. At the bottom of your screen, it should say participant screen share, things like that. You need to click on screen share,
Yeah.
and there might say something about
Only
enable.
host panelists?
Mhm.
All panelists?
Sure.
Okay. You got it?
Yep.
Okay,
And then
thank
There.
you.
I believe you guys can see this, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Awesome. So the job description is the one that we pulled from the Providence HR department. That was our previous iteration of this job description. What is highlighted is the changes that we made in our previous conversation, in our last meeting last week, and some subsequent emails, just throwing them out there as options. And so I can read, instead of reading the entirety of the job description, I'll just read the changes that we've made. And so number 2 would be adhere to establish intake and review procedures, bylaws, and city ordinance 18 and a half. And so Jillian, for this, do you want us to vote per line or per change, or do you want us to vote to do it all? Or board?
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe go through the changes that you have, and then if everyone's in agreement on things, then we can take it as a whole. But if there's differences, we can break it up. So it's probably easier for you to just go through all of them, and then we can figure out how to break up the motions.
Sure. So then the second one would be to provide the authority, also known as the PERA board, with monthly reports as outlined in said bylaws. And then participate in 20 hours of professional development through NACOL on an annual basis. And I believe that was the only one that we agreed on. There was a question in the last meeting about whether or not we would have put in the job description that the individual is not allowed to hold another position outside of PERA to ensure that they are available for all PERA needs. After speaking with the HR director for the city of Providence, it was kind of explained to me that we don't want to put that in the job description, but that's something that we should vet out in the interview process, because we don't want to remove an entire pool of candidates that either are elected officials or hold some sort of other position outside of this main career, if you will. Susan?
Thanks. And I believe the city charter refers to it too, so I think it probably would have been a little redundant to have it there as well.
Okay.
Just the salary, grade 823, is that still the same or has it
It's the exact
changed?
same. There has not been changes to
Okay.
that. The HR director for the city of Providence is going to look to see if that is on par with the other positions like this across the country. But as it stands right now, that is what's budgeted for in the current city budget for PERA
Okay.
executive director.
All right, thank you.
Is there any questions or any comments or discussion?
No, I don't have any questions. Yeah, I'm sorry because again, technology. I'm on my phone, but I can't really see it that crisply. But I did review it earlier and had no concerns about it. So
I as well, I have no questions at this time. Thank you.
Are we prepared to vote on this?
sure, sounds that way.
We're good.
Okay. Does someone want to make a motion?
Motion to accept the executive director job description in its current form.
Can I have a second?
Anyone second?
Deb,
All right,
Yep.
second. I forgot to unmute myself.
All those in favor?
aye.
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 All those opposed? The ayes have it. The item passes. Going on to item number 2, Jen, you can read it, please?
Discussion on whether or not PERA should hire its own legal counsel.
So, sorry.
No, I would,
Mike,
yeah, I saw this on the agenda. The only thought I have on this is I think we first need to make a determination, because this has kind of come up a couple of times. Make a determination as to what specifically we're talking about and whether or not our individual attorney would kind of have the immunity that the city attorneys do. And again, my concern is regardless of the decisions we make, our attorney could bind the board. Now, you know, the most immediate thing I would think that we would have a concern with is about, I know recently it was like we didn't release an item, but if we do release an item and there's an issue, again, the biggest reasons and again, we have to determine if we're talking about APA requests, we have to determine if we're talking about evidentiary things that we might be proposing to the board, but we have to just make sure the board is insulated. If we did release something and someone turns around and sues based on what our attorney recommended, we want to make sure we're covered in terms of liability. So I would say before we make that determination, we have to figure out, is that attorney covered by the same sort of immunity that the city attorneys are covered by in that capacity? So we're not looking at any individual issues. Other than that, we can then kick it around as to what's appropriate, but I think that needs to be number one, so there's not an issue.
Susan?
Yeah. Jillian, maybe you can weigh in, because there are other boards that do have their own legal counsel, I think like licensing, school board. So what responsibilities do they handle that would be that your office doesn't handle or takes away from your office? Just trying to see if there's a little comparison we can make.
I don't staff either one of those boards. I know that Board of Licenses has its own attorney. I'm not sure about the school board. I think that they are both, the people that are there are city solicitors. So I'm not sure what you're referring to with regard to the school committee. But this is not a question that I would be able to answer, whether or not this is within the board's authority to do. And I don't know the exact parameters for why the Board of Licenses has their own attorney. I'm not, like I said, I don't staff that board, but I can look into other boards that do that.
Thank you. I think that would be helpful to us.
My question, I did have a question. Is this hire of a legal counsel, are we getting rid of our city solicitor, our appointee? Like, so I wasn't really sure when I looked at this agenda item.
No, I think it's
sort
just
of my
something that
question.
we're just exploring to see why other boards may do it or not. And I was reading it somewhere in NACOL that it's something that they suggest as well. So it's just we just need to, look at why it's done, why it's not done, advantages, disadvantages.
If I could just jump in too, to be clear, the Board of Licenses also has a city solicitor that staffs the board. So all city boards, city council created boards, charter boards, they all have a city solicitor. I would be here.
Yeah.
This isn't,
Oh, we're not
you
trying to get
can't
rid of you.
not have the city solicitor's office.
No, it's nothing against you, Jillian. It's just.
Yeah, so
Just
again,
kind of
if we're talking about in addition to the city solicitor's office, and this is what I wasn't sure about the agenda item either, and I know that NACOL recommended something. This might have to do with evidentiary hearings or something, and that's why we just need to explore it a little bit more. I still believe that in questions of if the city solicitor is here, I doubt the individual attorney would enjoy the same sovereignty that the city solicitor's office does in terms of certain decisions. So then we need to figure out and maybe reach out to NACOL and make a determination. It sounds like if there's an evidentiary hearing and we're presenting evidence, we'd have our own counsel, or maybe to give recommendations on certain legal issues that might pop up, searches, so on and so forth. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted the ED and attorney as well. But it just sounds like this is more, exploratory, just trying to get a handle on what we need to do to kind of get this board, ship shape and functioning as it should. So.
Yeah, I can reach out to Brian Core at NACOL and also post it on the message board to maybe get some different opinions from different oversight agencies as to what they're doing.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
I just want to point out that if we did hire legal counsel, if we tried to make them a full-time position, we would have to petition the city council to change the budget, how it stands for right now for PERA, to have additional personnel line items, or we would have to have them on the contractor basis, similar to how we have an investigator and or mediator.
Yeah, and I don't think we're talking about full-time. I mean, this is kind of the same question we had talked about regarding investigators, and I'm not trying to put that position at a different standard than legal counsel. I would think, at least that it's just a part-time thing, and that's if we figure out the need for it, versus, we don't even know what work to give anyone right now. So I can't imagine we'd be giving anyone full-time anything at the moment.
No.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense, yeah.
Yes, it makes sense.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Susan, so you talk to NACOL and perhaps we'll touch base at the next board meeting and see.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Great.
Nice. We have an additional board member.
There you go. You beat me to it, Elise.
So noted.
Oh, Kim's here. We want to make a note that Ms. Dye has joined us.
I have to join the meeting.
Thank you. I was just going to ask you to do that.
Yeah. She's muted.
Kim, you're muted.
Sorry, I've been having a lot of technical difficulties with my computer today. It's just not working.
So I think we're all set with agenda item number 2. What is agenda item number 3?
First review of bylaw changes.
Sherry, I don't know, you're not able to screen share that. It is quite extensive. There's 12 pages.
I don't, Elise, do you have that also?
I
Can
do,
you
but
share that?
at least unless you have it separate on your computer, I just don't want to, like, if I share mine, I may be sharing some other stuff too. Do you have what I sent you? You're better at this than I am.
Yeah, me too.
So I can just basically go while Elise is doing that. So I did through it and updated of the, first of all, the title. We're not a board, we're an authority. So wherever it said board, I did change it to authority. Jillian has gone and some changes as well. So if you have some specific questions on any specific page, I'd be more than happy to answer. Nope, I see a typo.
Where?
Right on where it says that 4th page, right? It says upon approval by a city chairperson, it says Trostetta through city purchasing procedures.
Yeah, okay, for that as
I'll
well.
change that.
Do you want me to just keep scrolling, or is there a page that you'd like me to go to, Susan?
No, I mean, I sent it to everybody, so if anybody has any specific questions, because once we do kind of finalize this, then it does get advertised and the hearing process, which is something to change in the ordinance in the future, but until then, it does have to be advertised and we do have to hold a hearing.
I know at the last board meeting, we asked for community input. Did we receive any?
So we do not have access now to our email. So I don't know if anybody had we had asked for suggestions about, changing the ordinance. So I don't know, and if anybody has submitted any suggestions. We do have until our next meeting, I think, was the deadline. I'd be happy to give my mail because I don't foresee that we're going to have access to that. So if anybody listening out there submit any suggestions of any, change, whatever, they can send them to my email. It's just susand7338@cox.net.
Susan, there's only one, besides that one error in the spelling of that word.
Yeah.
There was one thing in the beginning when you have my
Sure.
name. Most people just call me Deborah, but there is another Deborah out there, and she has a first and last name as well as mine. The difference between the two of us is my middle initial. So even when I speak, I do say Deborah L. Ray. I just want
Perfect.
to make
Okay.
that real clear.
Okay, no problem.
All right. As far as what I've read, what I've seen, and what I'm still looking at, and I want to really hear from the public as well. So I thank you for suggesting that they send that to you if they don't like what they're seeing or they have some objections or questions in regards to what they're seeing. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't have a problem with what I read and went over. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And there will be another opportunity at the public hearing for
Mhm.
anybody that has any comments.
Hey, board members, this is Mike Fontaine. I got to take off.
Okay.
It was good kind of speaking with you all really quickly tonight. Sorry about that. Just, got some conflicts this evening.
No problem. And if we don't speak to you again, Have a very Merry Christmas, Mr.
Right.
Fonte.
Thank you, Misty.
Thank you,
Merry
Mike.
Christmas to everyone.
Same
You
to
too.
you.
Bye-bye.
The last page, actually Elise can speak to. And that's the governance piece of it that was added. So that is your new, if you keep going down, whoever has control, is that Elise? Yeah. If you go to the last page, that's the piece that you had put in there. If anybody has any questions, Elise. Right there. And I'll change the numbering and spacing and whatnot for the final product. And we did review this at a previous meeting as well. And changes were made. Thank you.
So we're going to be reviewing this at the next board meeting and voting on this. Is that correct, Sue?
Right. I just
And
didn't,
the public has,
I'm sorry, I just
Sorry,
didn't
go
change
ahead.
like numbering and whatnot. So the final pretty copy will be available for the next meeting. And we can take a vote and then we can go to the public hearing portion.
great. Public has opportunity to also send in their any suggestions from now until the next board meeting.
Right.
Thank you. Any
Do we have
further
anyone-
discussions?
I was going to ask, yep, sorry.
Good.
Are there
Go ahead.
anyone from the viewing, the audience or attendees that would want to speak to this? Sherry, can you see if anybody's got their hand raised?
No, there's no one has a hand raised.
Okay.
I can say, nope.
I'm going to take the liberty to stop sharing my screen.
Yep, I don't see, nope, nobody.
No.
Nope. Nobody's on.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Any further comments or questions regarding this proposed bylaw changes? There's none?
No questions.
All right, great. Jennifer, is there anything else on the agenda item?
No.
That's
Nothing
it.
else.
All right.
Motion to adjourn, I
Does
guess.
someone? Correct.
The short one.
Time to go. Is there anyone from the public that has any public comments?
No, I checked. Nope.
Okay. Good. All right. So anyone want to make a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
All those in favor?
Thank you.
aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Nice holiday,
Thank you.
everybody.
Happy